At the Battle of Endor, Grand Admiral Osvald Teshik continued to fight after the rest of the Imperial Force retreated, engaging Alliance warships for 4 hours before his Star Destroyer was disabled and captured. He was tried and executed by the Alliance to restore the Republic. The following is a transcript of his last statement. I've been here before. 4 years ago, Emperor Palpatine sentenced me to death. Why? Being Emperor is its own why, but he was angry that Republic privateers had been running wild in the core, and that they'd captured Advisor Vest's ship from Essel's. Since I commanded that oversector, I had to sate his anger. And to do that, he deemed I had to die. He sent me to Hapes above the pursuit light cruiser Shepherd, carrying 2 squadrons of TIE fighters and accompanied by 8 gunships. My men thought we were going on a recon patrol and that our mission was simply to keep the Happens honest. But I knew better. I knew we were going to a place from which we'd never return. When we came out of hyperspace, I accessed my orders. They read the dreaded words I've been waiting for: proceed at speed to Andalia and engage enemy forces. The crew expected us to run, and with reason. Against the odds we were facing, running was the only reasonable decision. I had to repeat myself when I told the deck officer to launch all fighters. I saw his face when he realized he was going to die. I saw he wanted to know why. And in moments like that, we all do. We think it will matter, that knowing why will grant us honor, that it will silence our futile bleeding at the prospect of becoming nothing. But it doesn't. Nothing does. So I didn't tell him. Our TIE fighters lasted 2 minutes. 6 of the other gunships were gone inside another minute, and the captains of the 2 cruisers panicked and turned into each other. They collided head-on. I watched the atmosphere boil out of their cracked hulls, condemning the men inside to horrific deaths in the silence of space's vacuum. Then the forward shield flashed and winked out of existence. The lead battle dragon launched torpedoes. I heard the deck officer yell, "Incoming!" And the next thing I knew, I was floating in space in an evac suit. I don't know how I got there. I can only conclude that we were hit hard, and my academy training took over. I hung there in space and watched the Happen ships advance. The transitory mists were sheets of green and blue and red, and everywhere else there were stars. Above and below, on all sides, because I wasn't looking at the sky, but floating in it. I'd never seen so many stars, not even as a boy on Callista's, lying on the roof of the threshing house with insects humming in the summer dark. And I could see the band of the galaxy, a river of light bisecting the sky. It was beautiful. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And that was when it happened. I didn't lose consciousness. I could still think and see, but I was no longer seeing what was around me or hearing the hiss of my ruined suit. I had a vision. I was shown everything at once. Everything that had been, and everything that will be. I saw great beings made of light, who could be everywhere and nowhere at once. They were vaster than nebulae and tinier than cells, and they assembled solar systems like children with toys. I saw great chrome warships whose mirrored hulls turned sunlight into blinding sheets, and blacked battleships whose spines were crowded with terrible spiked cathedrals. I saw Star Destroyers shooting through the dark, and blistered Mon Calamari cruisers schooling, and fighters of all shapes and sizes swimming. I saw ships that seemed to be clumps of multicolored wire, and ones that looked like organs torn from living things. And I knew all these ships were filled with beings whose lives had been given to war. Hutt and Taiwanese, Republic and Sith, Loyalist and Separatist, Imperial and Rebel. I knew it didn't matter who killed who, or when, or how, or why. All at once, I understood that those of us born to be sacrificed upon the pyre of war became one when we die. Mingled smoke gone up to whatever gods you believe in, for they are the ones who created war and breathed it into our hearts when they created us. War has always been with us, and always will be. I saw that too as my flesh turned black and my brain froze in deep space. I saw beings by the billions undone in cruel and careless instants. by blasters and swords and teeth and fists. I saw bombs scour fields and forests into ash. I saw planetary cores cracked by flights of missiles. And I saw the battle station you destroyed. Saw it hanging half complete above a green world. Yes, I knew what has now come to pass. The Emperor's demise, the Death Star's ruin. Shall I tell you of what else I saw? Things that are yet to be. I saw ruined towers on Coruscant overtopped by curtains of spiked green and purple. I saw the warship force of Kashyyyk burning, and the seas of Mon Calamari boiling, and planets ripped into two by the fiery lances of lasers yet to be built, and so much more. Other things I'll take with me, into the vanishing. And so it now falls to you to kill what's left. Go ahead, rebel. Let's get it over with. Turn Grand Admiral Teshik to smoke. But remember what I saw and take heed of what I said. You'll be smoke too, soon enough. For each of our wars is just one little piece of a greater war, one endlessly and incalculably larger. And your rebellion's part in that war didn't end with your victory at Endor. In fact, it's barely begun.